this is Tina with You Made That, and I am celebrating my 1-year YouTube anniversary today. So I've got some friends to join me. I'm so thankful for them, and I'm thankful for you for helping me get to 1 year. So today, well, this morning, I have Kristi, and I'm going to bring her in.
Hello, happy anniversary.
Thank you. Kristi's going to talk to us about English paper piecing today. Yay. I will say, hey, hi, Gina. Thanks for watching. She says, congrats. I have to tell Kristi something. Okay, so last time I had Kristi on, was that in August?
Yes.
Okay. Afterwards, Kristi said, what's your address? I want to send you something. And she sent me this bag, and it came with a little guy too. And I want to tell you, Kristi, I use this all the time.
Yay.
This is like my fun bag, like my retreat bag. Like it goes with me, and it's, got that bottom so I can put a lot in it. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And then she also made this for me, and it's a journal, and I use it every day because I write down my the sermons that I watch on YouTube and for my morning devos, and I keep track of them there. So thank you for that.
Oh, it's so good to know that you use them. That makes my heart happy.
Yay. Well, and it's so happy and cheerful and everything too. So it's a great way to start my morning. So yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, hey, Glenna, thanks for hopping on. She says, congratulations. Okay, so you guys are going to learn about English paper piecing, or EPP, as they call it.
Yes, ma'am.
So what got you started? Like, how did you learn how to do it?
So I decided about 6 months ago I wanted to sew, but I was very overwhelmed by using a machine. I was afraid. I was like terrified, and now I can't get away from my machine, which is so funny. So if you're afraid of your machine, get over it and just hop over there. But so this was by hand, so it was kind of like taking me a step carefully, and I was comfortable with it, and it uses scraps. So I wasn't having to go out and cut big pieces of fabric when I didn't know what I was doing yet. So it was a great way to just start getting my hands into sewing. So that's how I started. And I'm getting a new grandson, my first, in May. In January. We found out in May, and I decided I was going to make him a quilt. And so that's what I'm doing.
Yay! Congratulations on the grandson.
Thank you. Thank you. Elliot is his name.
Aww.
Yes.
Yay. I'm looking forward to seeing pictures already.
Yes.
Okay, so did you watch a YouTube video, or did somebody show you how to EPP?
I watched YouTube videos. I joined a group on Facebook. I read some books. I follow some people on Instagram that do it. So if you just hashtag English paper piecing, you'll find some people. And then I am addicted to fabric stores. And so every time I go into a fabric store, my goal is not just to purchase fabric, but to learn from the people in the shops. And so I would ask them if they did it. And I learned so much that way.
Wow. I need to go in a quilt shop or fabric shop with that outlook too, because right now I just go in and I want all the pretty or cute things.
I know, right? I know. It's bad.
It was funny because when we voted earlier this week, one of the ladies working at the polling place had her English paper piecing with her. And she wasn't doing hexagon. She was doing like a diamond, a skinny diamond shape. And I said, have you had a lot of people? And she goes, yeah, we've had like 500. And I said, oh, you're not getting to work on your English paper piecing? And she's like, not very much. And I was like, lady, I know what you're working on. Like, aren't you surprised? Come on. I thought she'd go, do you do EPP? But she didn't. So
she wasn't excited about that. I would have been so excited.
I know. I kind of thought she would too. But
well, and it is very portable. And that's another thing that I really love about it. Although Elliot's quilt is getting to the point where it's not so portable anymore.
Wow. are you doing crib size quilt then, or what?
Yeah, I want him to be able to carry it around. So the one that I'm doing is called an I Spy. I've done a few other things that I want to show you, but I'm doing an I Spy. He is having a zoo themed nursery. And so I'm hoping that this blanket will just grow with him, and there's lots we can talk about. I've even done things upside down, so we could talk about upside down and top and bottom, and just using all kinds of vocabulary. That's the teacher in me, but
What a great idea. Yeah. Okay, so we're dying to see some of it.
Okay, so this is, I'm sorry, I'm not in my studio because it's the holiday season and it's a wreck. So here you are in my living room with me, but this is the beginning of Elliot's quilt. And if I come up close, you might be able to see some animals here and there that are hiding amongst all the other colors. But then I'll do something that people rarely don't do, and I'll show you the back. And you can see that these pieces have paper on them, and these are just fabric. So I want to explain that to you. I'm using hexagons. That's the only paper piecing I've done so far is hexagons. So you'll need a template, which you can just download one and print it and cut it out of, I cut mine out of like boxes, cracker boxes and stuff, but you can purchase acrylic also. And if you do acrylic, you can use just a cutter, and I got this one at the Dollar Tree, you guys. They are wonderful. If you see these at your Dollar Tree, buy them up.
Wow, really?
So every little English paper piecing travel kit I have has one of these. So then you can just lay this on your fabric and just cut right around, right around your template if you want to use acrylic. Now, let me explain. This is the size of fabric that you cut. This is the size of paper that you're going to build your English paper piecing around. So you want more fabric than paper. You want it to be bigger. So I ended up buying punches, hole punches, so that I didn't have to cut the inside of this. So I bought different size hexagon paper punches. So this is the size that I'm doing for Elliot's quilt. And here's the deal. I learned this the hard way. When they talk about what size they are, it's what one edge measures.
Oh.
So right here. So this is a 1-inch hexie, which I would have thought it was like from here to here, right?
Me too.
But you do it here. So this is the size my hexagons will turn out. And so I punch my papers. You can purchase them or you can cut them yourself. I will say this, cutting them yourself makes your quilt not as great because you're not always perfect unless you have a Cricut, and you can also cut these on the Cricut and make them whatever size you want. So then I just cut little squares of fabric, and then I lay my template on there and cut out my hexie. So I have little boxes full of hexagons that are cut out of fabric, ready to go onto paper. Okay. So this is my little hexie travel box that I put all my supplies in. My supplies aren't in there right now because I'm going to show them all to you. So I have them laid out, but that's from Hobby Lobby. And it's nice because all these little sections come out, and there's big ones and small ones and whatever. So,
okay, let me stop you right there, Kristi. First of all, Glenna says your quilt is beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Glenna. I've also done some tiny ones. Like this is teeny tiny. These are 1/2 inch. And I'm going to make this into a bag when I get it as big as I want it.
You still have my address, right? You still have my birthday's in January.
I do. However, this is mine. And then I started trying some that were in flower shapes, and then these can be made into a quilt. So I'm going to do these like all the same color family, but different. So I'll have pinks and blues and greens, and then this will attach to more that will make a big quilt eventually. So I have several little projects going on. I just like the colors, but.
Okay, so Gina says that they're so adorable when they're tiny, because isn't that the truth?
but they're hard. They're not easy.
But they're adorable.
But they take less stitches, so they're a little faster.
Oh, that's interesting. And then Diane says, congratulations. So Diane, I'm just going to call you out here. This is up our alley. Like Kristi, don't get me into this. I do not want to do it. But
it's nice because you can just pick it up. You can pick it up and take it wherever you want. Like I have this little bitty pouch right here that I made, just full of some of my already made ones that are ready to go into a line. So when I made Elliot's quilt, I sew them all into one straight line. So this is easy to do wherever you're at. You know, it's small. And then I numbered them on the back, so I knew where it was supposed to go in my quilt. And now I'm just adding row by row by row. So it will have 25 rows going down when it's all finished. So I have a box of rows that are already put together.
And you just started this like a couple months ago. I think when we talked in August, you hadn't started yet.
This is true.
Look how far you've gotten.
We've done a lot of traveling, and I do this in the car all the time. So,
okay. So I want to hear more about the paper and the glue and all that.
Okay. So first of all, this is my fabric's cut. Here's my paper. So now we have to glue them. We have to glue the fabric onto the paper so that you make a hexie. And I like to use the Sew Line glue. And it looks like this. And it has little cartridges that you can replace like this.
Oh. Okay, and is it like a temporary adhesive kind of?
Yes, because then the papers pop out pretty easily. There are people in the community that actually just use glue stick because it's water soluble. I'm not one of them.
Like, give me the legit thing.
Right. So I put some glue on my hexie, and then I'm just pressing it over. But you need to do one side at a time. Don't go and put glue all the way around it, because now you're going to catch that piece and fold it over. So I've got some glue on there, and I'll just fold it over, and I'll keep going until I have it all the way around my hexie. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. So for a beginner, Alice, my friend Alice says, I've been wanting to learn EPP. I have the supplies, but haven't started yet. Too anxious. What would you tell her, Kristi?
Don't be anxious. Just find some fabric that you like. Make some hexies, and just like this, start sewing them together, because you can then cut them and turn them into whatever you want. So like this is just going to be a little zipper bag. So just take your scraps and play and get used to it,
Okay.
Next, I've learned a lot about thread and needles and what works and what doesn't work. And I have spent a little more on needles than normal, but I'm happy that I have. There's a company called Bohin, Bohin. They're from France. I don't know if you might already know these needles, but I buy the Milner needles, and I will tell you they're very soft. They bend easily, but they're tiny, so they slide right through that fabric so easily. And I use the applique size. Like this one is called Straw Milners. I don't know what that means, but the applique size are the ones that I enjoy the most. And
are they super sharp?
They're pretty sharp, but I think more than anything is they're very pliable, and they're very tiny, thin. They're bendy. Like I bend them often. You can see that mine are kind of bowed. Oops. Sorry, maybe you can't.
Oh, but, yeah.
Yeah, because of the pressure and because of the way my fingers are in them. So for thread, I use cotton, Gutermann.
Okay.
Gutermann cotton. And I learned from someone that you either pick a very basic color to stitch with, like a neutral, a cream, or a light gray, or you stitch with the darker color of whatever your hexie is. So if we're looking at Elliot's quilt, like right in here, I would be using a rust color. when there's lots of greens, like in here, I used green. So I switch my thread according to the darker color of the two hexes that I'm sewing together. So I keep a little pin cushion with needles with all my colors, so then I can just pull it and I don't have to change the thread every time. So I have a bunch of needles going at one time. Wow. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. And so I'm probably getting ahead of you. Are you stitching through the paper?
You go right above the paper. So you just go through a little bit of fabric that's above the edge of the paper. You don't go through the paper. Oh. And that's the thing that people get the most confused about. But that's why those little skinny needles are the best, because you can really get into those small little spaces. And I will tell you, in my earlier pieces, you can see my stitches so much more. And the more I do it, you know, the closer they get and the less you can see them. I'm not worried about it. I'll be able to tell Elliot that he got my first quilt I ever made. So, if I were putting them together, I would take two hexes, and these are the right side. These are the back side. You will put them right sides together and line them up. And then you would just start stitching right here.
Like a whip stitch?
Just a whip stitch. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep, just a whip stitch until they're sewn together. So when I'm doing the rows for his quilt, I just keep doing a row, you know, and just one stitch, and it goes fast. But when it comes time to add it to my quilt, I have to stitch it here and here. So you bend the paper. So I would stitch it here, and then I would stitch it over here. I would fold it over here and stitch it over here. So, and then when I add these to it, there'll be a stitch here too, you know, so it's a lot more stitches when you go to add it in somewhere. But it's still so rewarding and so fun. I don't ever just sit and watch TV. I have to do something. And this is a mindless, I can sit and watch TV and do things. So it's portable. I can do it, you know, and still kind of watch TV and do my things. So then what you have to know is you cannot take the papers out until there are all sides of the hexes are covered with another hexie. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you look here,
shape. Like it has to keep its shape.
Yes. So I haven't removed these because they're not covered by another hexie, but down here they are. So I've taken it out. So it folds up. And if you're careful and take them out carefully, you can reuse the papers.
Oh.
So.
Okay. So a couple of things. I've watched a video on how to do this before, and I was like, I don't think that's for me. But now after talking to you, my husband is my moderator today, and I know he's sitting over there going, oh no, she's going to start.
Sorry. Hey, no, wait. No, this is justifiable because you're going to use all those scraps of fabric that you don't know what to do with.
True. Yeah. I'm not throwing things away.
Yeah. No, save them in a basket.
Gina
I have a basket of scraps that are ready for paper piecing.
Gina says it's totally for you, Tina. And Diane says this looks like too much fun. I know, right?
It is so fun. Now I want to show you one other thing. I don't know if you all know thread magic.
Oh, from cross stitch. Yeah.
Yes. Well, and it's just a wax, and you run your thread through it to condition it. I have found that also makes that needle and thread just sail through those hexes.
Okay.
So a big fan of thread magic.
Okay, so back to the paper thing, because this is the new thing. Okay, so your paper that you punched is smaller than your fabric. So you fold the fabric over, glue it on one side.
All the way around.
And then you glue it all the way around. So but between the fabric that you folded and the paper, there's a little space, right, at the top.
You have to kind of find it. You have to find that space, you know. You get used to feeling it. And sometimes you catch the paper a little bit. No big deal.
Okay. So
No.
is it hard to take the paper out once it's surrounded by
No, and you know what? I should have had something where I could take it out for you. I don't. Well, yeah. Well, I'll just take one out here, and I better
Oh,
not do that.
yeah, no,
Um,
no, no. That's okay. We take
Here,
your
let me
word
just
for it.
take one that I have put together. So this one is already glued together, in my stack of them. I just kind of pull like an edge up,
Okay.
and then you just get your hand in there, and it just comes right out. And obviously, when it's sewn, it's not going to be like this. It's still going to have all the seams around it. It's very easy. And I went through with a little hole punch and punched a hole in the middle. And if you get like a tweezers, you can kind of put it in there and pull, and that helps too.
Wow, great tip. Do you ever press it with your iron?
I haven't yet.
Okay. So
I
not till you're
will.
done.
I will press it when I'm ready to take it to be quilted.
Oh, okay. Another question. Wasn't sure if you were going to quilt it yourself, but no, you're going to have someone do that.
I'm going to have someone else quilt it. Yeah.
So with the edges being, hexy sides, how do they do the binding?
Okay, so I'm putting a border all the way around it that's cream, right? And I'm going to go in and put an extra so that it'll be 2 cream deep. And then we'll trim it halfway across that one. And then I'm going to actually put a border. I'm going to do a border of strips of animal print fabric that will go around the outside. So
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm afraid this is not going to be finished by the end of January, but we'll see.
I think you're going to be done in a couple of days. No.
No, because once you start adding rows, it takes a lot longer. I can only do those like 1 row in a night. I can't, because I will say this, holding them as you sew them, your hands get like a little crampy, when you're holding these to sew it. It's so small and, so.
Can you show us? Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to show you, like, I would fold here and sew, and then you fold this way to sew this one. And you can just keep folding that paper, to sew your sides together. So.
And you use like you said, cereal box card.
I do. Well, I do that for making a template for cutting, but this I just use cardstock. Some people use paper. There's also a company, if you follow the Little Green Bean on Instagram, and Tina and I are in her sewing squad, and it's so fun. Isn't it fun?
Yeah, but I only did it for 1 month, but I loved the month that I did it. I know I'm missing all the stuff because it's seasonal, but
tree skirt and stockings and applique. But anyway,
I highly recommend though. Yeah.
She sells an iron-on kind that dissolves in the wash so you don't have to remove it. And because it's ironed on, she goes on her machine and uses a blanket stitch and stitches them together on her machine. I've not done that yet, so I can't, but she irons them all on that piece, all in the way that they go, and then she goes back and stitches it. She'll glue it around her paper, and then she irons them on fusible, and then she sews, and then when she washes it, those papers disintegrate and you don't have to go and remove them. So
that's cool.
It's a little more expensive, but
yeah. Okay, good to know. Can you show us the punches that you use to punch the
yes, but you have to hold on 1 minute because I don't have it sitting right here.
Okay,
Please
sorry.
hold. I'll be right there. Okay. No, it's okay.
Okay. We'll chat while she's gone. Yeah, thanks for watching, Glenna. I know it's fascinating, right? And it would take a lot of patience, but not everyone finds comfort or peace in tedious little things, but I kind of do. I'm like at the place where the littlest detail of things is like my little comfort zone, which is probably why I cross stitch, because we're just making little X's all the time. So I don't know if that'll always be true for me, but I'm like with you there. I Okay. So you got
So
those at like Hobby Lobby?
yeah, I ordered them on Amazon, but you could. And then here's like a teeny tiny one, like very little compared to this.
Yeah. Okay.
And I ordered these in a set, so several came. Um, and then I have one like this, but the Fiskars kind, but I'm not a fan of it, to be quite honest. But anyway, this is for a 1/2 inch. This is for, well, I don't know. I marked these wrong when I first started because I didn't get it. So I need to go back and remark them. But this is the one for Elliot's quilt that I use all the time. So,
Okay. And then you've got the rotary cutter for the fabric part.
but I personally, you can do that, but I personally take a piece of cardboard and I lay it, or you can even just take, here, I'm going to show you what I do. I use scissors. I take 2 pieces at a time. I take my punched out template and I just cut eyeball a 1/4 inch and I just go around and cut.
Oh.
So I don't even get that precise. Like you could do a rotary if you wanted to, but I just snip and there I have pretty much, it doesn't have to be perfect on the back, just so you have something to fold over and glue.
Okay. So then do you not use that yellow template much anymore?
I don't.
Okay.
But I do have them in sizes and things that I don't have a punch for yet. So I would make, I would use these and I would make my own template, this out of the cracker box. And then I would just lay that on my fabric and cut around it, But I have several shapes. I have the triangle. I have these, like that's like a Dresden.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, but I've only done so far, but you can do them really big. Like this one's really big.
Oh, wow.
But I've only done hexies at this point. I've been so focused on this quilt that, there's not a lot of time for anything else.
Do you think the triangle or the diamond would be easier because you don't have as many edges?
But you do. I mean, you're still going to go 4 around when you attach them. I think these are, well, okay, when you do these, when you glue them, they have a little tail.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you go to sew them, you've got to tuck the tail in. So that, I've just not been intrigued by it yet. I like my hexies. I love these flowers. I'm obsessed with like the flower shape. So you just start with the one and you sew all around it, and then you sew all around it, and then you sew all around it. So you keep working your way out. So nice. I'm just going to do these when I feel like I need a change, and I'll collect them. And when I have enough of them, I'll make a quilt out of them. But.
Okay. So nothing that you've done so far regarding EPP has been like one and done. You'd still go back to the little, you'd go back to the big.
Yes. This one's about, I just want to make a little tiny pouch out of this. So this one's about ready. I'm about ready to make that into something, but I've had to kind of put it to the side because the quilt is priority. So.
Okay. Can you hold the quilt up one more time for us? So
yes. Yes. So I have 8 rows on it so far.
Wow. Okay.
I think 8 colored rows and 1 cream. So this is as wide as it's going to be. I want it to be the kind that he can just carry around with him to church or the doctor's office or wherever, so that we can sit and talk about it. And it's something to entertain us in situations that might be. I'm hoping this is the one he takes to bed with him and hugs,
Yeah.
We'll see.
And has when he's like 50 years old, he still has the quilt,
Right. I have to tell you one more thing really quick. So the animals I fussy cut them. So that's when these come in handy, because you lay it on your fabric and the center shows you what you're going to see. And then I would trace around it with an erasable pen and cut it so these were handy for that. When I did all the fussy cutting, which I'm all done cutting. I don't need to do that anymore. But then from that inside what you're going to see from what you cut out. And so these are handy for that. If you want little pictures inside, if you're just doing random, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But
yeah, good point. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Sense. So, and you did the cream row at the top so that you kind of know where the top is and you're
yes.
from the bottom.
And then I can keep working, and then it'll go all the way around eventually. Yeah. I haven't done the sides because I feel like handling it, the cream's going to get a little soiled if I'm not careful. So I'm coming with the cream at the end. But like I said, I used to be able to take it wherever I went, but it's starting to get a little more cumbersome and obvious. Like when you're just doing little hexies, people don't really notice so much what you're doing. But when you got this whole big thing, they do. So it's not as portable as it used to be. But for the longest time, if we were in the car, I was stitching them together. So
wow. Well, cool. Okay, so follow. Dun, da, da, let me get. Kristi is on Instagram. Now, this is her website. And
my Instagram is K_Heinz_designs. That's my Instagram. So this is my website.
And that's the website. The Instagram, we can follow along and see her progress with her. Are you going to be sharing progress?
Obviously.
Okay. Okay. I know if it'd be like a surprise for for Elliot's parents or something.
Oh no, everyone in the family has had their hand in it.
Oh.
My husband has been doing some gluing. My son and his wife help plan some rows and pick fabric, and so we've all kind of had a little bit of our own hand in it. So
husband's been helping with gluing, and that's interesting. What?
He wants it finished because I have stuff purchased to make him a Harry Potter one. So
okay. He's like, when you done, hurry up, make mine.
Well, and he loves his grandson and wants to be part of it. So
that's cute. But yeah, so for the website, then she's got things like this. You've got Christmas cards, you've got bags, you've got what else? You've got different sizes.
Well, and right now I also have a class that I'm offering. I only have spot for 5 more people. It's called Tags, Bags, and Packaging. And we're doing 4 tags, 4 cards, and 4 packaging. And the kit comes with all the supplies you need to make all the things. And then you join a Facebook group that you'll always have. And we go through and make the things together, and then you can go back and make more of your own if you'd like. So We're using all kinds of things, moss and wooden sticks and jingle bells and pom-poms, and we're having fun. So.
Are the classes over Zoom? Are they at your own?
It's a Facebook site. I have a Facebook page that the class is in, and then it always stays there.
I see. So it's like at your own. Gosh, I can't think of the word. Yeah, so you do it whenever you can, kind of thing.
Right. So you can come and watch live. I tell everyone I'm doing it, but then also it's always there. So if you can't go live, it's always there for you to go back and watch. So.
Okay, good to know. All right, so we go there to find that out. Yay! Thank you for showing. Our comments are good. Go back and check them later, Kay.
I will.
Kristi, I'm looking at Kay Heinz. I'm like, Kay? Yeah. Yeah. So, and yeah, sign up for a class. She's only got room for 5 more.
Only 5 more packets left.
Okay, I may be messaging you if I dive into this and give it a shot. It looks like fun. You made it.
I just wish we lived closer, Tina. We would have so much fun.
Oh,
maybe your husband wishes we don't live closer.
Yeah, he probably is. Because walking into a quilt shop together could be expensive. But yeah.
So I keep all my little threads and my glue and everything in a little bag that I made. So
yay!
Pop it in your purse and you're ready to go, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for watching, hopping on, commenting. At 2:00, we got Planning with Perks with Glenna.
Oh, those planners are to die for.
I know. And yeah, I'm all in. And then at 6:00, we got Ask the Card Maker with my friend Christina from Kay's Craftology blog. We've got questions for her to answer. And then at 7 o'clock, we've got my daughter-in-law, Casey, on, and she's got an Etsy shop, and she rebranded, and we're going to talk to her about what she's got coming up. She's got Harry Potter stuff too, Kristi. So, aye. All right. Well, thanks again, and thank you, everybody. Thanks, Kristi.
You're welcome. Thank you. See you guys later.
All right. Bye.